Hello and welcome to another Adobe Training Tip of the Month from your friends at headTrix Training. Today we're in Photoshop CS4 and we're going to create some steam to add to this lovely painting done by Vanessa Frazier. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to take my selection tool here and set the feather. I'm going to feather my selection on a new layer, of course. Everything should always be on its own layer. And I'm just going to grab the selection tool and draw a selection about in the center of the image, about the width, maybe a little thinner than the coffee cup. And I'll move that over just to the center. So don't worry so much about the number that I have here for pixels of the feather. Worry about replicating the shape that you see. Because if your image is larger, your feather mount will have to be larger. That's just going to soften our selection. Next, I want to make the foreground and background colors from black and white, our default. I want to change the foreground to 50% gray. So I'm going to click on the black swatch and set my cyan, magenta, and yellow to 0. And then set the black to 50% to get 50% gray. Alright, and now we're ready to go to Filter, Render, Clouds. And there we have it. We're on our way to Steam. Next I'm going to deselect the selection, either Control D or Select, Deselect. And then I'm going to add a motion blur. So Filter, Blur, Motion blur, and we'll set the motion blur angle so it's straight up and down, about -90, and distance we could just slide up to see how it looks as the smoke steam rises. Maybe about 166 looks good on my image, maybe a little less. What do you think? Alright, there's my steam. So next we're going to add like a waving pattern to this steam. So we're going to go up to the filter menu once again, this time to distort the steam, and then to wave. I'm going to keep the settings as is and just press OK. Every time I do this, I'll get a slightly different effect. There's my wave. We're almost there. Next thing I'm going to know is I'm going to take my layer here and change the blending mode to hard light. And then I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit as well. Alright, looks pretty good. Next, I'm going to take my eraser tool, make sure that layer is selected there. So I'm just going to remove the steam from the bottom of the coffee mug here. Alright, and there you have it, our final presentation, creating steam in Photoshop.
I hope you enjoyed this tip of the month from headTrix Training.